3 days after a heavy rain, the same thing happens in thousands of gardens. The lower leaves of the tomatoes turn yellow and spotted. A white powder that wasn't there before appears on the squash. The peppers that were almost ready to pick start softening from the bottom. And the gardener standing there looking at it thinks the rain did this. It didn't. The disease was already in your garden before the first drop fell. It was sitting in the soil, on old leaf debris, in the dense, crowded growth at the base of your plants. The rain didn't bring it. The rain just pulled the trigger on conditions that were already loaded. That's actually good news, because it means what happens after rain is determined by what you do before it. And if you have time today, even an hour, there are 7 specific actions that change what that incoming rain does to your garden completely. Let's move fast. The window is real. Heavy rain creates 3 disease conditions simultaneously. The first is soil splash. Raindrops hitting bare soil, picking up fungal spores, and launching them directly onto the lower leaves of everything nearby. Second is a humidity spike. The air trapped between your plants becomes saturated and stays that way for hours after the rain stops, sometimes longer if your plants are dense. The third is standing moisture on leaf surfaces, the exact condition that fungal spores need to germinate and begin colonizing. Every major disease that follows a rain event uses at least one of these 3 entry points. Blight needs the splash. Mildew needs the humidity. Rot needs the standing moisture on the stem and crown. You cannot stop the rain. But every one of these 3 conditions is something you can directly address before it arrives. And that's precisely what these 7 actions do. What's growing in your garden right now? Tomatoes, cucumbers, squash, or something else entirely? Drop it in the comments below. It changes which of these 7 actions matters most for your specific situation, and I read every comment. Action 1. Mulch any bare soil around your plants right now. Walk your beds and find every patch where you can see actual soil. Those are splash zones. Every raindrop that hits bare soil becomes a small explosion of water and whatever is living in that soil. Fungal spores, bacteria, pathogen fragments from decomposing material. They land on your lowest leaves. That's where disease starts. That's almost always where it starts. Lay 2 to 3 inches of straw, wood chips, or shredded leaves over every bare patch before the rain arrives. The mulch intercepts the raindrop before it reaches the soil surface. The splash doesn't happen. The spores stay where they are. If your existing mulch has thinned through the season and you can see soil showing through it, top it up today. Mulch that's too thin to block a direct raindrop provides almost no splash protection regardless of how thick it looks. This single action closes off the most common disease pathway a home garden has after heavy rain. Action 2. Remove the bottom 6 to 8 inches of foliage from every tomato, pepper, and bean plant. Not after the rain. Right now. Those lower leaves are the first surface soil splash lands on, the last to dry out after rain ends, and they sit in the stagnant, humid air that collects at ground level. Fungal spores concentrate there. They always have. Remove the entry point before the rain creates the conditions that let entry happen. One detail most people skip: don't tear the leaves off. Cut them cleanly with a sanitized blade, close to the main stem. A torn or ragged stem left behind is an open wound, and an open wound during the humid hours after a rain event is exactly what opportunistic pathogens are waiting for. Wipe your blade between plants. It takes an extra 10 seconds, and it matters. Have you ever walked out after a rain and found disease starting at the base of your plants? Which crop was it? That's not random. That's the mechanism working exactly as described. Now you know how to stop it before it starts. Action 3. Pick every piece of fruit that is showing color or is close to ready. Harvest it now, before the rain hits. Heavy rain causes 2 specific problems with near-ripe fruit that most gardeners only discover after the damage is already done. First, a sudden flush of water uptake swells the interior of the fruit faster than the skin can stretch to accommodate. The fruit cracks and splits, and a split fruit cannot recover on the vine. Second, the prolonged humidity that follows a heavy rain event accelerates surface mold on fruit sitting at near-ripe stage. The fruit you were waiting 3 more days on becomes the fruit you lose entirely. Tomatoes that have begun to show color will ripen perfectly well on a countertop at room temperature. They don't need the vine to finish. Cucumbers and squash at full size should come off now. You invested the whole season getting that fruit to this point. Don't leave it exposed to a weather event that has a predictable and preventable outcome. This is also the most immediately satisfying action on this list. Walking in with a full basket before a storm feels better than walking out after one to assess the damage. Action 4. Open the center of any plant that has become dense or crowded. Look through the center of your tomatoes, cucumbers, and squash from ground level. If the growth is dense enough that you can't see daylight through the plant, if air visibly cannot move through the foliage, that plant will stay wet for hours after rain stops. The faster a plant dries after a rain event, the smaller the window for disease. The longer it stays wet, the longer spores have viable conditions to germinate. Remove any stems or branches growing inward toward the center rather than outward. Take out any yellowing or damaged foliage that's adding density without adding productive growth. You are not cutting aggressively. You are opening channels that allow air to move through the plant after the rain passes so it dries in an hour instead of 3. That 2-hour difference in drying time is often the difference between a plant that shakes off a rain event and one that spends the next 2 weeks fighting blight. Action 5. Walk every plant carrying fruit and secure anything that's loose. This is the fastest action on the list and the one that gets skipped most often. Heavy rain combined with any wind puts significant weight stress on branches that are already loaded. A branch that snaps under a heavy tomato cluster, a pepper plant that tips because its stake worked loose over the season, a squash vine pulled off its trellis. Every structural break that happens during a rain event becomes a wound. Every wound in the hours following heavy rain is an open invitation for the pathogens that the rain just distributed across your entire garden. Check every stake and garden tie right now. Tighten anything that is loosened. Add a second stake to any branch carrying significant fruit weight. Support heavy fruit clusters individually with a sling of soft twine tied to the main structure. The whole walk takes under 10 minutes in most gardens and prevents the kind of damage that turns into a disease problem you're still dealing with 2 weeks later. If this kind of specific preparation is something you want before every major weather event, not after, subscribing means it lands in your feed when it's still useful. One tap. Now the last 2 actions. Action 6. Mix 1 tablespoon of baking soda and 1 teaspoon of dish soap into 1 gallon of water and spray every plant, tops and undersides of every leaf, at least 2 hours before the rain is forecast to arrive. Here's what this actually does. Baking soda changes the leaf surface environment, making it less favorable for many fungal diseases to get established after rain. You're not treating an infection. You're taking away some of the conditions fungi prefer before the storm arrives. The dish soap helps the solution coat the leaves evenly and stay in place longer. 2 things this is not: a treatment for existing disease and a replacement for actions 1 through 5. Those address the underlying conditions. This addresses the leaf surface specifically. One timing rule that matters: if rain is less than 2 hours away, skip this action entirely. A spray that hasn't dried and bonded provides no benefit. It washes off with the first rainfall. Put the remaining time into the earlier actions. Be honest with yourself about your window before you start mixing. Action 7. Walk your garden and identify anywhere water already pools or drains slowly. This takes 5 minutes. Most gardeners skip it entirely and regret it a week later. Every low point in your beds, every container without adequate drainage, every section where water sits for more than a few minutes after normal watering. Those locations receive the full impact of a heavy rain event and become root rot zones. Root rot doesn't show symptoms immediately. It shows up as unexplained wilting and yellowing 7 to 10 days after the storm, long after you've stopped thinking about the rain that caused it. Walk and look. Find the low spots. Scratch the soil surface in those areas to improve infiltration before the rain hits. Build a small channel to direct water away from plant bases if you can. Move any container without drainage holes to a covered spot where it won't accumulate standing water. Which of these 7 actions are you doing today? And which one surprised you most? Tell me below. I want to know what most people weren't already doing before rain. A like puts this in front of the next gardener who needs it before their rain arrives rather than after. 7 actions, most under 5 minutes each. The entire sequence done in under an hour. What they do collectively is remove every condition in your garden that incoming rain would otherwise exploit. The bare soil that splashes, the crowded growth that traps humidity, the near-ripe fruit that splits, the loose supports that break, the drainage problems that drown roots. The gardeners who walk out 3 days after a heavy rain and find their plants intact didn't get lucky with the weather. They got ahead of it. The disease was in their garden before the rain, too. It's in every garden. They just removed the conditions that would have let it activate. 3 days from now, when the rain is gone and your neighbors are wondering what happened to their plants, you'll know the answer wasn't the rain. It was everything you did before it arrived. Which of these 7 actions were you already doing? And which one are you doing for the first time today? Tell me below. Go check your forecast. Then, go check your garden. The window is smaller than you think, but now you know exactly what to do with it.